The fuck?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to 127 Podcast, the only podcast that allows vampires to do Irish jigs in our front lawn. My name is Jeff, and I'm joined by my fellow sinners. Dominic. Wait, no, you guys
I was about to say we
do it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Go ahead, Dom.
I'd let a vampire do an Irish jig on my front lawn.
I would. No, they're getting like 45 steel bullets to the back. That's a lot of warning shots.
Well,
I'm Brandy.
that would do nothing.
Silver? I thought Silver kills.
Oh, Silver. Oh,
That's
I thought
a
you
werewolf.
Yeah.
said. I think there's contention whether that works on vampires or not.
I mean, I feel like most people, it's like the first thought is werewolves, but
Because, fun fact, that's why they don't show up in mirrors, because I guess the mirrors back in the day were lined with silver in the back or something. So that's why they don't show up in mirrors.
Yeah.
So they'll show up in mirrors today. So
You'll show up in mirrors today.
Yeah.
That's fair. I guess we kind of spoiled it. What movie are we reviewing, Jeff? I guess they would know.
And today we're talking about the movie Sinners by
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, yeah. Starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan and a bunch of other people that I actually don't know the names of.
put
Hey,
respect
Miles?
on Haley Steinfeld's name.
Oh, Haley Steinfeld, yeah.
I mean, she was fine. Miles Canton, though, he deserves some flowers. He was great. I really liked him.
Who did he play?
That He was Sammy. He was Preacher.
This is his
Preacher
first
Boy.
movie, right?
This is his debut.
This is his
a
debut.
pretty kick-ass debut.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Guy is gonna get some work
Yeah,
after this.
he definitely deserves it. Yeah.
Well, anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're going to talk about the movie. We're going to get into our reviews. We're gonna talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, our movie experience, going to the theater, seeing this movie, which is what you guys should all do. Go to the theater to see movies, just in general, especially the good ones. Yeah, go see this in IMAX. Go see it in 70 mil, like it was intended to be seen. But anyways, we're gonna be talking about this film. We're gonna be talking about the likes, the dislikes. We're gonna give our scores, our individual scores. We're gonna be talking about lots of things. Not sure what yet, what's on the agenda, but we're gonna figure it all out as we go along, per usual with 127. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you for clicking on this video and wanting to hear our opinions. Whether that's a good idea for you or not, that remains to be seen. So like and subscribe, comment down below as you're watching along, and share this video, all that jazz. And Brandy, what are we starting with?
Okay, here's where we're starting. I wanted to talk about our hype, and then also like the box office, because like for me, I wouldn't have watched this if a friend of mine didn't like invite all of us out to go see it. We went to go see it in IMAX last week on a Monday, and I had been hearing a bunch of stuff about it. Like there's been a lot of hype generated around it. They said it's been like killing the box office. It beat Star Wars Episode 3, which was something I wasn't expecting on its weekend, and it's just been like shooting. Like people have been going and going and going. Like our theater was still full, and I think this movie's been in theaters for like 3 weeks now or something like that.
2 weeks, I think.
So yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it only dropped, I think it dropped 7% box office gross in its second weekend, which is like unheard of for a new IP movie.
Damn, that's right.
Usually they drop like 60% or something for that second weekend. So.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, so this movie still ended up grossing. I mean, I think the numbers are still coming in, but the last time I checked on the wiki, which is Box Office Mojo. Yeah, Box Office Mojo, as they go through. It was 156 domestic, and then worldwide 207.2 million, which is pretty good. So yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have gone and seen it by myself. I think because I didn't see the trailer for this movie, but like I saw the poster and I'm like, oh, vampire film. I don't think I feel like watching that right now. I don't know what gave it away for me. But yeah, what about you guys? What got you into the theater for it? Because you guys went together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dominic, do you want to go first?
Sure. I was telling Jeff that I didn't realize this was a film about vampires until like a couple weeks before it came out.
Oh.
Um, I had seen, I think, the first trailer, and I think just the timepiece and like Michael B. Jordan's like attire. I was just like, oh, like mob gangster film. But even I think in the first trailer they show Haley Steinfeld, and I didn't put it together. I'm like vampire. I was just like, oh, maybe some cult stuff. I don't know. And then way later it was like there's vampires in it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But it looked good. Just I think from the initial trailer alone, it was just like interesting because I think it didn't reveal too much, and so maybe I want to see it. And then once I realized Haley Steinfeld was in it, I was like, well, now I got to see it because it's Haley.
What movies has she been in? True Grit.
True Grit, Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, The Edge of
Ender's
17,
Game.
Ender's Game.
Yeah. I didn't know she was in Pitch Perfect. Oh, she was in Bumblebee. Oh, that's right. She was in Bumblebee. I think that was... Oh, and she's Gwen. I didn't know that. I didn't know she was the voice for Gwen.
Yep, she's also in Hawkeye. She's the new.
That's true.
She's Hawkeye.
She's the next generation Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did see I had originally seen an article about it before the trailers came out that said Ryan Coogler is going to do a vampire film with Michael B. Jordan, and it's a period piece. And it was when it was in the very early stages of being done. So I was kind of like, oh, I wonder how this is going to go. And then I felt like 2 weeks later, the trailer came out. I was like, wow, that was quick. Okay. But the trailer I saw felt like it gave away the whole movie. Like there were lots of clips in it that I thought, this is like something that would happen at the end of a movie. Like this is just, I'm really good at telling that sort of thing when I'm watching a trailer. Like this is an end movie clip right here that they decided to put in right here. So I felt that they had given the whole movie away in that one trailer, and I thought, I'm not going to go see this. I already know what's going to happen, so I don't need to see this.
It's like a DVD trailer.
Yeah, so when the movie finally came out and everyone was like hyping, no, you got to go see this. This is really good. This is really good. I decided I was going to go see it, and I'm happy I did, because despite those things that did end up being at the end of the film, and I kind of knew already these sorts of things playing out, the themes and the actual story was completely different from my expectations. That, not that it didn't matter that I saw those things, but it wasn't detrimental to the viewing experience, where I was like, that totally fucked everything up. Like I was still able to enjoy the movie having seen those spoilered images.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. How was the marketing for this film? Because, like I said, I only saw posters for the most part. I don't think I ever saw like a trailer kind of come my way. I typically only watch them on YouTube, though. I'm not on Instagram anymore, so maybe that's my own fault. But
I did get some ads on Instagram as I was scrolling and stuff like that, but like I said, I had already seen the trailer, and the ads were just clips from that one trailer, so
gotcha.
That was the majority of it. And then everything that I do see, when I have a movie on my radar and I see clips that come up where they're discussing the film or whatever, or they're going into detail about the background of the movie, I'll just save those posts, and then after I see the movie, I'll come back to it later, because I'd rather get all that information after the film, after the fact.
That's fine. That's fine.
But I mean, I didn't really see a whole lot on this until after it came out. People were starting to go see it.
Okay. Yeah.
I forgot where I saw like the first trailer. I want to say it was before like 2025, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was in January. It was something that was like, oh, what's a film to look forward to next year? And then I think before release, I think it did appear a lot on TV because we tend to watch like television during dinner, and I'd see clips of it, but like we watch it, the commercials on mute because you just
Oh,
want to
okay.
chat or whatever. So it's like I was also very surprised that I missed like it's about vampires, but they did a good job, I think, of not showing it, or I was just oblivious. But like I saw a lot on TV, and then we got the like press release before. I think the one that like really tuned me in, like, oh, I should probably look more into it, was like the Hot Ones thing with Michael B and Haley.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they did one.
They did like a little mini Hot Ones thing, and it was to promote Sinners. And then that's when it was like the phone was listening, and it's like, here's more interviews with the cast and crew about Sinners.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I remember I remember we went to go see episode 3, and I think I don't know why I feel like I have to admit this. I was going to go see episode 3, and I'm like, man, there's like a lot of black folks in the theater today. I'm like, I'm happy to see that. I'm like, what movie are they going to go see? Because I thought it was like going to be Star Wars. No, it turns out that like a lot of black people have been going to watch Sinners, which is cool. Because
Can you say Star Wars again?
Star Wars. That's how I see. Shut up, Dominic.
Star
You
Wars.
see, you see how he's nitpicking, Jeff?
Star Wars.
Shut up. So, I don't know. I do want to ask, did you guys have any, because we did talk about, like, going to go see the movie, but did you guys have any, like, preconceived notions going into this film? Because when I found out that Ryan Coogler was making it, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go.
Like just thoughts that we had going into it or whatever,
Yeah,
or
I guess
just
so.
or just like based on the people, because like I said, when I saw the trailer, I had already kind of mapped out the whole plot. Which
Yeah, but like,
but I didn't have any problem with Ryan Coogler doing it, or Michael B.
yeah,
Jordan being in it, because
you're not Alex.
no, but I did enjoy the Creed movies. They have their ups and downs, whatever, but they're really well done.
Yeah.
And like the Black Panther movies, while I didn't care for the first one, and I really didn't care for the second one, but I mean that had its own faults that were beyond everybody's control. Those two films didn't affect my perception of this one, because I figured if he has like free reign on this, this is a good team. They're going to do well with this. I'm excited for it. So, but like I said, it was just seeing all these spoiler shots in the trailer that kind of dampened my want to see it.
That's fair.
But yeah, I mean that those were the only preconceived notions I had. I don't have any problem with anybody who was in the film.
Just to piggyback off of that, yeah, he had, I don't know if he had carte blanche, but he was producing, writing, and directing this one. This is like the first time he's done all three. And then I looked at the production notes just off of Wiki, and this is the first time he did a gross first budget, which, I mean, hang on a second. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Visual photography. Yeah, first dollar gross, and then he also had final cut privilege. So like he had free reign over this movie pretty much, which is exciting to see. But yeah,
I fought for the rights. Like he
yeah, he
owns this film.
He owns it for 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I feel like more studios should just let their directors own their films, but like the fact that he was like, no, like I this is my vision. I want it like this, and this, and that they were like, all right, fine. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think he was in a bid war with Sony, Warner Bros. And Universal, and Warner Bros. Met all of his demands, and so yeah, he's got this film. He owns it for 25 years after its release, and I'm assuming that he's going to do sequels and stuff, but I think we'll save that for later in the video.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah. like I said, I had issues going into it with Ryan Coogler because like I've seen all of his films, even his directorial debut. I always forget the name of it.
Fruitvale Station.
Fruitvale Station. Thank you. And I remember liking Fruitvale a lot. I remember loving Creed because I'm like, this just revised a whole series that I already enjoy heavily, Rocky. And then, the Black Panthers came out, and they do have their issues for both personal and technical reasons. But they are, I don't know, it's kind of hard to, like, see where Marvel ends and, like, Ryan begins with that movie. So it's kind of hard to, like, admonish him. But I think this movie really, I don't know, it really like made me start to question what I should expect from like his next project. But going into it, like I was not the most hyped because I'm like, it's like I'm like 50-50. Like you've got too bad, you've got too good, so let's see how this one goes. And without getting too much into the next segment, I think it did okay. So what, Dom?
I mean, it's technically my turn, and this is where I'm gonna go all shameless. I love Black Panther 1 and 2. I don't have issues with it, and I've never seen Creed. So once I learned that I've never seen Creed or Rocky, any of the Rocky films. So once I learned that it was it's Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, I'm like, Ryan Coogler hasn't missed. Michael B. Jordan, great actor.
Fucking hate you.
And it's got 80s time. I'm in, baby. So,
disgusting.
That's why I was laughing, because I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds great.
All right, then, Ray of Sunshine. Let's kick it off with... Go
I
ahead.
haven't seen any of the Rocky films either. Creed is the only Rocky thing I've seen. I've seen all three Creeds. I'm like, there's another Creed coming out? I gotta see it.
What are you talking about?
There's tons of movies you have not seen.
The Disney film...
You can't give...
Disney classics don't count.
They do count.
No, they don't count.
You're a dumb millennial like us.
Fuck you. You know what? You watch all the Rocky films, I will watch all the Disney classics.
That's
shit!
like
Holy shit!
Okay,
really? Okay. All right. Hey. All right. I will pick up all the Rocky films tomorrow, and I'll start watching. I'll even watch the one with the dumb robot. Let's do it.
It's like 6 Rocky films versus 52 Walt Disney animated classics. Let's go.
Oh, we'll do a podcast on it. We'll do a podcast.
No,
on
I'm talking about just Rocky, not Creed.
No, you have to do all of them. The whole Rocky
No, I know,
series.
but when I say Rocky, I'm talking about Rocky Balboa Sylvester. So there's a 6 Creed, there's a 6 Rocky, and then there's the 3 Creed films. So there's 9 in total, compared to the 50 plus Walt Disney animated classics.
I'm not watching 50 animated films.
You just said it.
You just said.
You just said it.
You just said.
You just said it.
7 seconds. Fuck you.
Hey, I will watch all those movies too. Let's do it. We can do a podcast on it.
Yeah, joke's on you. You think we want to watch all those movies?
Right.
You're wrong. All right, next segment.
Yeah, Ray of Sunshine. What was so great about this film, Dominic? Because it seems like both you guys really enjoyed it.
I did.
And I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I don't want to.
You don't think it's good? So.
I don't think it's. I think it's getting glazed. I will say that.
I think it's good. Like it kind of gets, or at least in the beginning, it gets into it, and then it like takes time to flesh out, which maybe it could have been a little faster. But I thought like the setup of all of the events I thought was good. Like getting introduced to Stack and Smoke, and then you meet what's Preacher Boy's like the actual name?
Sammy.
Sammy,
yeah.
Like learning about Sammy and like how he just wants to play guitar, and he's hanging. It's just like a day with his cousins, and you get to meet all of the like, not the protagonist, but it's like the second term.
Antagonists?
No, not antagonists, but like the secondary protagonists.
Oh, I know this. I know the word you're looking for, but like the supporting cast, basically.
Yeah, but I wanted to like degrade them to supporting cast because they're all part of the main cast. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. The cinematography I thought was really good. There's those like wide shots.
Here we go. It's Dertagonist.
Dertagonist.
If they say Deuteragonist, I'm just gonna send you the link because I don't think I've seen
Isn't that a cat from Cats? Deuteragonist?
Deuteronomy?
No.
Yeah, Deuteronomy. Yeah, Emily knows Deuteronomy. Yeah. Yes, you're right, Dominic.
Deuteronomy.
That's not stop. Vampires, please.
No, but I was saying because that's how I remember it. Because I had to sing, we had to sing Cats.
Oh,
The cinematography I thought was really good. I was telling Jeff like I was really vibing with the music. Like all the like music cues I thought were so good, that like repetitive guitar notes. And then at the very end you learned that Ludwig was like part of it, and it's just like, well, that makes sense because he makes really good music. I thought I don't know the actor's name, but the antagonist was like
Jack O'Connell.
really, yeah, he was really great in his performance. He was like very he was like menacing, but also like that like very sinister, like, oh, like I kind of can side with him. Like he had that silver tongue personality. It was just like you kind of like him, but you're supposed to dislike him. I don't know. I don't have like many bad things to say about Sinners. I thought it was really good.
Nice. That's nice. Glad you feel that way. Who you want next, Jeff? Me or you?
It's one of the best films of this year, but I've only seen Sinners and Minecraft, so
The bars in hell.
there's not a lot of competition. But I think it's safe to say that it's 4 going on 5 months into the year. This is probably one of the best films of the year.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I agree with that.
I was gonna say that I haven't. This is the first movie I saw this year in theaters.
Really?
At all? Yeah, seriously. We've just been catching up on Star Wars, and then we saw Star Wars Episode 3. So I guess 2 films, Episode 3, and then this. But like as far as like releases for 2025, this is the first one this year. I don't know. Like everything that I wanted to see didn't feel like it was theater worthy. Like I wanted to see Den of Thieves 2. I wanted to see The Amateur. I wanted to see Mickey 17. But every time I'm like, let's go to the theater, I'm like, I don't really feel like these are movies I need to watch in theaters. Maybe Mickey 17 would be the exception. But the other two was kind of like, It just kind of feels like the beginning of this year has been kind of
slow.
Unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, very slow.
I've been trying to force myself to go to the theater recently. I saw 2 movies this week, and I saw 3 movies a couple weeks ago. But this year I've only seen Presents, The Monkey, Working Man, Warfare, Minecraft, Thunderbolts, and this. So.
Did Thunderbolts just come out?
Yeah, I saw it Thursday. Opening night.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, nice.
But, yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I feel like going into it, I thought it was going to be all about the vampires, but then I realized at the end of it, it's not about the vampires. You know, it's more about the music and the culture of it and the metaphors of what vampires represent, you know? So, because I was waiting for a long time for these vampires to show up, and I'm like, dude, we've got to be halfway through this movie, and these vampires haven't fucking shown up yet. Like how Dominic was mentioning the background music and these musical cues and stuff. I like how even they had these musical cues from like 1980s horror films in a way, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is something I would hear in like a straight to VHS horror film from the 80s. Like this is like it was so well done that it was like to me it felt familiar in a sense to topics and themes and that I'm familiar with in horror films, but it was so unique and different that I felt like I was watching something brand new. Like it was familiar and new at the same time. Yeah. I'm sure there's more like positives that'll come to me later on as we're talking. I'm kind of like scanning through the whole movie right now. I'm all over the place. But yeah, I mean, I love the characters. I thought it was very well built group of characters, group town and everything. I thought was just like the environment was very welcoming, I guess, in a sense. Even though these guys were shooting motherfuckers in the street, but whatever. That besides the point.
Mississippi.
It felt like a good time. Yeah.
Get you shot in the ass.
And I mean, yeah, just really, really well done. Not perfect, but like very, very good for what it was. That's all I'll say right now. I'm sure there'll be more later.
Yeah.
All right, Hater, go ahead.
Shut up. I will say right off the bat that 1865, right? 1866. Okay. Yeah, I'll say right off the bat that I really enjoyed the era that they put this movie in, and I really like that this was a fiction film. I feel like we don't get a lot of movies that cover the early 1900s Jim Crow era South without it being some kind of biopic or I don't know, typically some kind of autobiography or it's something that's always rooted in reality, and I feel like that's a missed opportunity because this is a tragic time for the United States, but I do feel like it's kind of looked over into what stories could be created through it. So I really commended Ryan for going into the story and setting it in this time period. I thought that was a really cool idea. It was a great concept, and I think it was executed beautifully. Like you guys were saying, with some of the characters, I will admit that I don't, and I'm trying to dodge some of the negative stuff, but I will admit I don't feel like the characters were fleshed out as well as they could have been. But the characters that did get their flowers, like Sammy, the gentleman, oh my goodness, I always forget his name, but I remember his face. What are you doing? Is that Omar Miller? No. Delroy Lindo. I forget what.
Oh, harmonica player.
Markiplier. What are you talking about?
The old guy or the
the harmonica player. The harmonica player.
Oh, okay.
Markiplier. I was like, what? Those characters, I felt like they took those moments and they even gave a historical explanation or a lens for the viewers to watch or to understand the setting. I felt like they did a really great job with the world building as well. Like you were saying, Jeff, it really felt like a lived-in town. It really felt like this felt like a holistic, I guess, world that he had set up within the Mississippi area. And I really enjoyed that. I loved the set. I loved the costume design. I loved a lot of the dialogue too. I thought it was kind of cheesy that Michael B. Jordan was two characters, but they played off of each other really well. I feel like he did a great job handling two twins. And really giving them a distinct personality, and you could kind of even tell if they weren't in the most obvious garb, Smoking, I think Stack is his name, or even if they weren't wearing the hats, you could just kind of tell by the way he held himself, the mannerisms. You're like, oh, okay, that's Smoke. Oh, okay, that's Stack, and you could see it. I think Michael B. Jordan knocked that out the park, and I really loved the first part and a half, parts 1 and then all the way up until halfway through part 2. I really enjoyed the pace. I loved the dialogue. I loved the interaction. And I really felt like that was the point in the movie where I was hooked enough to be okay, cool. Let's see where this goes. How are they going to incorporate the vampires? Because I already knew. But I'm this is such a grounded and real world that he's building. I really wonder how he's going to interact with the supernatural. And I also loved the historical beats that this movie had. I cannot get that scene out of my head, but the music scene where he's playing the guitar and then he has all of the generations, hip-hop, African dance, the griots, all coming together and they're in this scene where they're dancing and they're seamless, or the guy shredding on guitar. It's that was such a cool idea, and then he expanded it with other cultures too. I felt like that was just that is still a scene I can play forwards and backwards. Clearly I can see that scene. I can hear the music. I can feel it. And I saw this movie in IMAX. And it looked gorgeous. And I really loved the shots too. I really felt like there were a lot of good just establishing shots that really sold the setting that they had. So yeah, I really felt like this was this had really strong bones, and I think that's why I felt so disappointed with it after the third act, or I guess after the second half of the second act, and then the credits. Um, that like it, I think that's why I feel so mixed about it. Where it was like, yeah, there were some really shining points. This was foundationally, this was a really solid film, but I feel like it's weak in a lot of places that kind of degrade the whole experience. But yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with it. Do you want me to keep going? Thanks, Jeff.
I mean, I would definitely want to hear your negative aspects. I think just because Jeff and I are more positive on it.
I mean, it's not that I don't have any negatives on it. I do think that the film does have its faults, but to me, the film's more positive than negative overall.
Interesting. Okay. Well, for one, I think for one, I'll just kind of go for the low-hanging fruit. But, like, there are a lot of moments where they just take some liberties with the story. Like, Michael B. Jordan getting from the second story down and stabbing... Ooh. Spoilers, viewer.
Just, you're this far, you know.
This is a spoiler cast. Like,
yeah, whatever.
Spoiler. That's true.
Whatever.
If you're hearing it's on yourself.
Yeah, we're like, 30 minutes in, we're talking about this movie you haven't seen. What are you doing here, stupid? Go watch the movie and then come back. What? I'm talking to the viewer. I don't know them.
Yeah, we can fuck the
canceled again.
No, we're not going to get...
Again?
We haven't said anything in this.
That they know of. The black box knows, but they don't.
Yeah. We're good.
But yeah, there were some moments where I was kind of like, that's kind of weird. Like, he came down from the second story, got around the whole swath of vampires, stabs the guy in the back, Super Negro style. Then the guy burns and dies. Or the guitar getting slapped into the side of the guy's head. Like, Sammy was like, you'd have to Louisville Slugger that shit. I don't know how you get the discs. It was just kind of like, there were some cheesy moments there. It also felt like the movie took a lot of time establishing the final act, and I kind of felt like the final act just fell flat. Like the scene where the Asian woman, I forget her name. I feel so bad. What was her name? What was her character's name? Not Joan. Nope, that's definitely not her. Oh, Grace Chow is the character's name, played by Lee Julie. I'm sorry, Lee Julie. I felt like that moment was really ham-fisted, where she's like, "Come on in," and then like they have this whole big fight. Which, did you guys notice that there were like people getting bitten, and it's like, this is a group of 5 people. Where did these other people get fucked up?
There were a lot of people that like I was like, there are our main characters dying right now. Yeah. What the fuck where are these people coming from?
Yeah.
I did notice that.
They're supposedly in there's some people in the background, but it's like, I think it's just
they didn't do a really good job at showing them.
I think it's just because it's because we're focused on this group of 5, but supposedly there are some more people in the background. Because when they started biting, I'm like, who are they biting? Because like everyone's right there.
I was like, did the old guy just die?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Who's dying right now?
I think when they arm up right before they come in, I think there's more silhouettes of people. But
I never saw that.
I don't know if there's like an extended cut that Ryan wants to present, but I think there's not a good job of establishing like it's not just them, but there are more people. But.
I do kind of want to see it again, just for the little parts like that. That's like, all right, where do those people come from? And especially knowing at the end, who gets away from that situation. And like you said, the brother goes down the stairs and around trying to figure out that timeline of like, all right, well, do I see these people leave? Does Haley Steinfeld and the other brother, do they leave? Like, how does this all play out, seeing it from that perspective?
Well, they did show the scene. They did show a cut, like I think it was really fast, of Haley running away from the whole crap.
Yeah, but that was during the credits.
That was during the
when they revealed that she's alive.
Yeah,
she ran something that after seeing it, it was that influx of like, here's things that I noticed on like a second viewing. And so people were pointing out that like when Annie, is that her name? Is that Smoke's partner?
Oh no, Mary.
Mary?
Mary. That's you're talking about Haley Steinfeld's character, right?
No.
Oh, the other one, the
Oh,
pregnant
that
lady.
is Annie. That is
Supposedly.
Annie.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
So we were pointing out that like when Annie dies, like Mary like snaps out of the vampire trance, and that's when she dips. And then, death off screen. Mike, Stacks dies, and Smoke lets him live. And then the next morning, when they go to the barn, people were pointing out that like the barn's locked.
The barn
and
was
it's
locked,
probably
because he was in there.
Because they were in there. Like they couldn't. There's no way they could run off, drive, and like avoid the sunlight. So it's like, it's the hidden detail of like, yeah, they stayed in there. That's how they stayed alive.
Yeah. See, I noticed because they never killed him on screen, the brother on screen. So like when I saw the barn was locked, I was like, oh, okay, he's still alive. I thought he was in the case that he was dragging around. And then he opened it and they pulled the gun. I was like, well, okay, is he still in the barn? I thought they were going to kill the KKK guys together. That's what I thought was going to happen. But
I do. Yeah, I find that odd now because I also thought about that too. I'm like, oh, it's locked and it looks like it's back to normal. I thought like it had been a time skip was like my thought process. It just wasn't.
This is definitely one of those I think films you have to see like a second viewing of at least, because it is odd at first, and then when you like kind of think about it, it's like, okay, I can make that leap and connect the dots. Yeah.
the thing I would like to really keep an eye on when I watch it a second time is because they point out in the film that, like in most vampire lore, you kill the head vampire, everybody gets cured. That kind of thing. It's not all the time, but sometimes you kill the head vampire, the head vampire, and then everything's good. But in this one, they're like, yeah, that doesn't happen. However,
Excuse me.
what I found was interesting was that they all have this shared hive mind, and they're being controlled essentially by this main vampire, because you can see when they get turned that they're just automatically with it. And I feel like it's really against these other people's characters to be with it. But when the film ends and they're in the end credits scene and they're both at the bar in the future, whatever, in the 90s, I feel like there's that personality that these two characters had when they were alive before turning there. So I feel like in a way, when you kill the head vampire, you get that person, that individuality back in a way. Like you lose that hive mind. So in a way, there's something that has to be done with that, because otherwise that whole end credits scene doesn't really fit with the vibe of the way that the vampires are set up. So that's something that I want to pay attention to moving forward, is how these characters act, and if it's cohesive through the entire time, or if it has something to do with that head vampire dying, because of just that hive mentality. That, to me, that's how I explain the end credits scene.
So, like, to kind of jump off of that, I think that's where I had like a really hard time with the whole conversion thing. Like, I didn't feel like he had changed that much after he had been like bitten. Like, it didn't really feel like he had become like a zombie or anything like that. I don't know if it just didn't read that way for me, but like the way he acted in the post-credit scene, which I also want to talk about, and the way he acted like right after getting bitten, I think this is something that's really funny about Ryan Coogler, at least from Black Panther and Black Panther 2, is that I don't think he wrote Black Panther 2. At least no. I think I'm misspeaking. I think he did write Black Panther 2. Let me see real quick. Feature film. Yeah, he wrote Black Panther. The thing about his villains is that every time he writes a villain, I'm kind of like, this villain's kind of got some points, to the point where it's like, Why aren't you guys just kind of like?
That's how good villains are. When you can like empathize, and when you can
I
like
think
when you can kind of like agree with the villain like that. That's usually I think like good
like
antagonist
Thanos.
writing.
I agree to.
No, shut up.
He's got a point.
Universal genocide.
No, he doesn't have a point.
He's got a point.
I've
Less
never
people at the
talked about this
grocery
yet.
store. I mean, I'm all for it. Less people on the roads.
Jesus.
Hey.
Christ.
No, they even
Jeff
make fun of it in
supports
the
ethnic
anime.
cleansing. It's just,
They make fun
No,
of
no,
it
no,
in
that's
part
the
two.
cleansing. Just
just general cleansing. No,
I'm an
but I
equal
think-
opportunity hater. Everybody can go.
No, I think what the problem with that is, Dom, is that I agree. I think a really good villain is written to the point to where it's like I can agree with this person, but their methods is probably where like you draw the line.
Well, yeah, that's when you're like, you're still a bad guy. I shouldn't
Right.
mess with you.
But like I think that was I think that was my biggest thing with Black Panther was like it felt like he Killmonger really had like this very compelling argument in terms of like how he saw the black community being treated, how he saw Wakanda abandoning everybody, and then how he felt abandoned and how he felt like, you know, everything had just kind of spiraled out of control when he should have been able to do something about it. And yeah, even to the point of like genocide, it was like, okay, calm down with that. But at the same time, you were like there with him up to that point. And I kind of feel like the same thing here happened, where Jack O'Connell's character, the main Dracula, is like, yeah, but if you're with me, we're fucking immortal. We could just like kill all the people who are oppressing you. Why don't you just go on ahead and join us? And it's like, damn, aside from like his really shitty banjo playing, he's kind of got a fucking point. Why don't you guys just become immortal and just take over the South? Because at that point, shit, you could flip the cards. And I don't really see this as like the big negative, like the really big issue with this film. But it was definitely a point in the film where I'm like, this is so weird that this has happened twice now. Because it happened in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, too. This is the third time where it's like you wrote a villain that is so compelling, that makes a lot of sense. And it's like, how do you say no to this guy? How do you like really find a way other than like, it's evil and I shouldn't be a vampire because I don't want to live forever and I don't want to be under your hive mind. You know, like, I don't know.
I'm just going to say, personally, if
Okay.
somebody told me, Jeff, vampire, you live forever, can't go in the sun though, but it's pretty cool, I'd probably say, yeah, let's go for it. I'm down. Let's do that. But then you say, we all share thoughts and we all know about each other. We know everything.
We share
I'm like,
memories. We share our pain.
never mind. Yeah, you keep that immortality. Fuck that.
Jeff
And then I see all these people acting, they're dancing around and shit. They're all hyped up with this dude who's skip dancing in your front lawn. No, thank you. That ain't me. Hey, you got like a weird corner of vampires who aren't doing this shit. They're just like chilling out.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
I'll hook me up with those guys. I'm good with
The
that.
retired vampires?
Yeah, the retired vampires. Yeah, they're sitting out on the porch in their rocking chairs. That's where I want to be. Hey, can I still enjoy hot chocolate? Let's do it. All right?
Why would you not be able to enjoy hot chocolate?
Because I'm a fucking vampire, okay? I'm just saying, like, personally, I feel like this is a different kind of vampire. The hive mind thing and how everybody is under his control in a way. That's why I feel like once he's gone, everybody gets that control back in a way. I don't know how it would have happened. And you even notice it because everybody has different colored reflecting eyes. He's the only one that has red eyes.
That's true.
So I'm wondering how that hierarchy would change if the other vampires lived, but it's only down to them two at the end of the film that we know of. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think personally there's no hive mind anymore. There's nobody connected. You're back down to yourself. And since those two characters were already so connected with each other anyways, that sort of connectivity isn't affecting their personality in a way. They're able to function as themselves as opposed to a hive. that's just my take on it. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Who knows? But that's my personal feelings on it.
Okay. Yeah. I think I think the last thing that like really bothered me, and I alluded to it in the positive section, was kind of like how grounded and real the first act and a half really felt. And then we kind of jump into this gore fest. I don't want to say B movie in a derogatory way, but it definitely kind of like itched that B movie slaughterhouse, blood all over the place, blood galore, and like very horny, as kind of all vampire films are. Film that it just kind of turned into in the third act, like, and like I was saying earlier, like it kind of felt like everything else happened just to set up this one scene, and when it happened, it was like, okay, cool, but I feel like the vampires should be representing something. And you were alluding to this, Jeff. You said you watched a video about it too, but like it just didn't translate to me. Like it kind of just felt like, and not even like going to harp back on that whole villain part. I just kind of felt like this was just another element that the people had to deal with, and it's like, well, shit, okay, we have to kill vampires now, I guess. And then they did, and we just we do the Fight Club, and we get back to the beginning, with Sammy, who chooses the guitar, which I think was a great option, in terms of telling that character story. I'm glad that they went with that direction for that character, showing that he kind of had like some more faith in himself than anything else. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just felt like the whole vampire slaughterhouse scene was just like, okay, we built up to this. It happened. What does that really have to do with the overarching plot? And like while the characters were built fine, I kind of felt like they weren't built enough to like watch them die and be like, man, oh no, damn. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, there's a chick from the train who sings. She's dead, and now the brother's dying, or the other twin is dying, and then like old man sacrifices himself, which was I think a good way for that character to go out. And then what's her name? Brandy Chow? June Chow? What's her name?
Wow,
Grace.
can't even remember her name.
Oh my god, Grace Chow. Just kind of like fucks it up for everybody. Which again, it felt like that ham-fisted moment of like, something needs to happen in this movie. Here you go. But yeah, what were the vampires supposed to represent? Because like to me, they just kind of felt like a plot device to say we have vampires in the movie.
I don't know. I saw a bunch of people saying it was just cultural, like the white people moving in and assimilating culture and shit, and trying to, just making everything bland. Hey, here's Betty's fucking casserole at the function. Who wants to eat that shit? It's like that's what it was, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I could see that. I didn't have. I know the movie was about the music, and especially this soul connection, like how they were talking about the connection to the spirits, the ancestors of the past and the future even. And I mean, that's what the main vampire guy was after, was that power to speak to spirits in both directions of time or something, which is what they like kind of just threw in there in the line or whatever. Because he said he wanted to talk to his friends or something like that, because he'd been alone for such a long time, which is kind of like, that to me was a little weird, because it's like, you have this ability to change whoever, but like, people just keep dying. I feel like you made a bunch of vampires in one night. I feel like this shouldn't have been a problem for you the last like however many hundreds of years, but we're just talking about the scope of this movie. So yeah, I remember him saying something about he needed that power to do something vampiric.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, Dom. What were you gonna say?
I don't know about what point, but I mean, he made that comment when he was talking to them at the door, when he first, I think, revealed that he was a vampire, or when they realized it, about like he too had been, I'm trying to find the correct terms, but like he he had dealt with invaders coming into his
Yes.
country and taking over, and then people were pointing out that like that would be like when Ireland got invaded, and that was like 1300 years ago. So it's like he's been around for quite a while. Like this
Well,
isn't just
he had the doubloons or the drachma or whatever the gold
yeah. He had the
coin.
gold coins, which
Yeah.
is like he's been around forever. So it's like I guess that power to transcend time and talk to people. It's like I mean if he's been alone like for forever, like I guess it would make sense. I interpret it more as he was just trying to ascend to heaven, but like keep his vampire powers, which is weird because it's like if you want to just, or I guess if you're a vampire, you just die and go to hell or whatever. But I don't know. I think there was a lot of motifs of like freedom, gaining freedom and losing freedom, and I feel like that's what the vampires were. It's like sure you get into some mortality, but it's like you join this hive mind and kind of lose your true self in a way. Like you kind of get your personality, but it's like you're still being influenced by this person. But it also seems like you can break that influence because like Mary like running away when Annie died. Like I feel like she kind of that control over her kind of got severed, and that's when she kind of
Yeah, I'm
was
kind of
normal.
curious about that sort of connection.
So before we get into that, I just want to point. I really do agree with what you're saying, Dom, because it's freedom but at a cost, and I think maybe that's the line I can draw because like they do talk about going up to Chicago and it being like, oh, this is where black folks are free. This is where like you can make it in America, and they found out no, that's not the case. You're still fucked no matter where you go. The twins did, so that's what brought them back down. So it does kind of come, and he had that diatribe with Sammy about going to the other side of the Delta where there was like a really big black community as opposed to trying to make it out in the rest of the country. And it was like, just stay true to that, stay true to like, being holy, being, righteous, and then staying in like the black community or like, staying where people are correct. And Sammy struggling with that because it's like, no, I like music. I want to like express myself and I want to make it out there. And so it does kind of come at that freedom at a cost. What do you want? Do you want safety and community? But you will have to like follow these strict rules of like, oh, you have to go to church or like these other expectations that come from that society. Or do you go out into the big world where nobody's going to treat you nice unless you have the money and the pull and the power to like push. So I really like that. I don't think I would have made that connection unless we had this conversation. So that makes it a lot cooler now that we're talking about it, rather than it just being like, vampires, go kill them, don't die.
There's nothing wrong with going to kill vampires, though.
I don't think there is. It's just if you're going to do that, establish that in the first and second act. Like I feel like if this movie, I don't know what they would have to have done in the first and second act to make this more like zany enough to be like, you're just gonna kill vampires. But the way that they set up the first act and the second act, the way that people interacted with each other, the way that the story was being told, it really felt like a movie that was grounded in reality. It felt like a movie that had something to say. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to the third act, it was kind of like, what the fuck were you saying other than let's kill some vampires, which I'm all for. But like I said, just establish that tone in the beginning. So it's really nice that we got to talk about that.
I was just saying, I think they had to kill them to just stop them from spreading and taking over, because Jack was on the run from, I don't know what tribe, but he was on the run from those. He was on the run from those. The what is it?
Choctaw.
Like he was on the run, so it's like
I am part Choctaw. My father's
very nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that in a movie. Sorry.
They clearly knew what was up and were like trying to stomp him out here and now. And then I think the dude who sold them the property, it was like, there's no KKK here, but then it's like,
he's the Grand Wizard.
Well, he's the Grand Wizard, but then I think the first two turned vampires like are related to him because they had KKK garb, so it's like he's saying they're not there, but like they're still there. They're just hidden. Like there's that aspect of like they're not gone. They're hiding.
I think there was a line where they said they were connected.
Yes.
I think he's the uncle or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
Because he told them the plan or whatever. He's they're going to come here tomorrow. That was one thing I didn't like, though, is that like, I guess it's fine. You didn't have to explain it, but I would have liked to see a little more with those Native American guys.
Yeah.
It just felt kind of like, all right, why do we put that in there if we're not going to explain that? But like it
Because there always
makes
has to be
sense.
that person or group who it's like, I am trying to warn you, I'm trying to warn you. There's a dangerous person or thing, and then you just have people like disregard them, and then they're just like,
So the Native
all right, we
Americans
try to
are
warn you. We're leaving. We know how to defend ourselves.
the old guy at the gas station in every horror movie.
I feel like, yeah, I think it's just a trope of just like people who it's like they know better, and then no one listens to them, and then the whole movie unfolds. And
In terms of the KKK as well, since we brought that up, I felt, despite liking that scene at the end, I mean, hey, I could watch a movie all day long about you putting bullets into KKK people, and I'll give it a 10 out of 10. However, that scene felt a little different than the vampires. Like, the KKK thing just kind of felt like an added bonus. Like, it didn't really... Not that it didn't add much to the story, because I did enjoy that, and I think it connected with the beginning, like you were saying, how it was set up and everything. And there's hints at it throughout the film, but I just felt it was kind of just like this extra thing. Like, the movie had already ended, we'd already kind of gotten to that point, and it was just kind of like, well, here's this extra stuff.
It's funny you say that because I thought the same thing too. I was watching that scene and I'm like, okay, this is, cool. Like, this is a kind of a closed loop for this character. But it didn't really feel that way. Like, it kind of felt like he did that and it was just kind of like, it's just kind of like he was taking care of business as usual. It didn't really feel like it changed him in any kind of way. And yeah, I guess like it was gratuitous and it was fun, but at the same time it's like, okay, cool, but why did we need to see this? Yeah.
I mean, you remember you said this film didn't have an identity, but like, if you're thinking of the aspect of like love for one another and caring for another, like, yeah, it was him mowing down KKK members, but he was also protecting Stack and Mary's love for each other, but also brotherly love. Because it's like, if they were in that barn, like, they would have died, just because of sunlight, but also like if they weren't, if no one had turned and there was people who were just hanging out there afterwards, like, they would have just been gutted by the KKK anyways. So it's
but
like,
would they have? Because you can't really kill the vampire until you figure out like how to kill.
no,
The
I'm
vampire,
saying if there was no, if there had not been vampires at all, like, there probably would have been people who were too drunk to go home or whatever, and like spending the night. Like those people would have come and just killed them regardless. Like, seemed like it was kind of like a trap. Like, yeah, like, you guys were gonna have this property, and it was gonna be your thing, and then all these KKK people were gonna show up the next day and just like kill everyone. So
okay.
like, it does seem jarring at first while it's happening. It's cool and badass because, fuck the KKK, but
Right.
I feel like if you get, it's definitely, you gotta ponder and think about it. And I think if you think about Stack and Mary being in there and like their forbidden love and like Smoke doing like one last thing, you don't
For
know,
his
like,
brother.
yeah.
So I got two things on that.
Can you, before you say that, I just want to say one thing. That violence at the end, that was the kind of violence I was expecting for the whole movie, just based off of what the film had like established at the beginning. Anyway, continue.
That's what I expected too, because that was I think the trailer is my perceived thought was like, this is a gangster film, like mob, guns, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm also sad we didn't see more of that knife play that was at the beginning of the film. How they had that knife gun combo, and
Snake.
we didn't see that knife come up.
I feel like that's supposed to be
more.
I think that's supposed to be the subtle explanation that they were involved. They had some military training, because like, I don't think it's brought up like till the third act, or like someone talked about.
Yeah, he had a knife.
It was the reflex. It was when they were going to uncover.
Yeah,
the
whenever
truck
they
that
were
had,
gonna like.
and there was the snake, and like Stack like had like.
Yeah, but
quick
even
knife reflexes.
Even when they had the
Oh, they're talking to the
landlord.
owner.
he had the knife. Like, he kept going for the knife in multiple situations, and then we never saw that knife during the vampire thing. Like, I get it, the vampires, they can't do anything with the vampires, but
that's because he got turned.
Oh, was it? Okay,
Yeah,
I got him confused. Yeah, he has the knife.
Stack had the knife. Smoke was more about the guns, and they showed it off with the snake, like the quick reflexes. I think to like hint that like these aren't just some,
pumpkins,
mobsters. Like there's some military training. Because then at the very end he pulls out that cache of guns and grenades and stuff. But yeah, but Stack got turned, so that's why he doesn't need knives, because he's a freaking vampire.
Right.
But the last thing that really bothered me was the post-credit scene. Not the post-credit scene, not the actual stinger, but the one after the first couple of...
Time jump.
Yeah, the time jump. And Buddy Guy playing the guitar, which was awesome, by the way. Good to see Buddy Guy. I saw a critique about this film, and I think it summed it up nicely, where it kind of gave this like a Marvel-esque feel with the post-credit scene and the final vampire fight. Like, it just kind of felt like, oh yeah, we need a big blockbuster ending, and then stay tuned for more. And I kind of felt like that was, for lack of a better word, kind of like cheap. Like, I thought it was cool to see like Sammy's future being played by Buddy Guy, but I just really kind of failed to see the point of continuing this story with the Smoke character. Smoke Stack. I don't know which one.
Stack.
The Stack? Was it Stack?
Yeah.
That guy? Okay, Stack. Okay. So, I don't know. It just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth where it's kind of like, this story is over. Can we just let sleeping dogs lie? And it didn't really feel like it added that much to the film. So.
Dominic?
I was going to say, that's not how I saw that scene.
Same.
I saw that scene as closure for... I keep forgetting his name. Sammy. I saw as closure for Sammy, like, we got to see him as the sole survivor, like, grow up, live a life. He got to play music. But then it was also closure for Stack and Mary, because, again, it's like Mary dips in the barn before they're all outside, and then Stack, has that off-screen death. Because, like, it was very jarring when Smoke came and stabbed Jack. I'm like, you were at the barn, like, what happened? And then it shows him like on top being like, I'm gonna kill you and then I'm gonna let you go. So I thought of it more as closure, just to see that they got away, but also there was that very touching scene when Mary is like, I just want you to be honest with me, and then Stack is like, what, you want me to say that, like, I love you and that I care for you, and that, I want you to live a safe life, and that's having a safe life. Like, I'm not going to be involved in it because, like, I'm not a good person, not doing good things. So it's like, I have to be mean. I have to leave you here because I love you and I want you to live. So it was nice to see them having turned vampire, like, get to live out this life together, because it's like they couldn't really be together back then when, like, during the initial point. And so it's like in the 90s, people more accepting, and like, you can't go in the sun or whatever, but like they get to be together, and like that was how I took the scene when it happened. It was like, it was a nice like little closure moment. I don't think Ryan should make a second film. Like, I think this is nice as it is. So that's why I'm like raising my finger when you're like, this is like a cheap Marvel thing. I'm like, I don't think this is setting up a sequel. I think this is just
closure. Yeah, it's a finality to it. I don't think it even, if anything, adds it to, so there's no continuation to this specific story. I mean, you could have other vampire stories, other whatever not, but for these characters, I think it's done. And that scene kind of adds a little bit to it, to the questions you might have when the film's over. Because, he leaves, he goes to pursue music, but then that it's alluded to heavily that he let his brother live, so what goes on with that? And this is that moment where you get those answers given to you. So I didn't see a problem with it either. I actually kind of liked the scene. I had that like oh fuck moment when they walked in, but by the end of it, it was like, oh, that was actually kind of nice. Like, I still had questions about it. I didn't see the point of the last end credit scene at the very end.
I like that one.
I kept joking to Dominic. I said, "We're gonna see a werewolf in the window." Like it's just like that's gonna happen. But yeah, I didn't see any problem with those things, personally.
Okay, and I guess again, if we're thinking about that whole cost of freedom theme, then like that would be their cost of freedom in order to live a happy life, would be literally just turning into vampires and being immortal and can't see the sun. Okay, all right, you
Because I mean,
convinced me.
like he even made that promise of like not touching Sammy, like just letting him live.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is another thing too. It's like I wonder about the hive mind thing. Like that's really what I want to know more about is how that affects the whole as opposed to just the individual once all those other characters are gone. Personally, because I think that would answer a lot of questions.
Okay. Well, that was it. That was all the things I could think of off the top of my head that like really stuck with me after I left the theater, where I was kind of like, I don't understand this. I don't really get what they were going with the vampires. That last scene. But I have to say, I have been thoroughly convinced by this conversation, where it's like, I can start to connect the dots, or like see how you guys were interpreting this film. So,
Hopefully, it can now be considered good.
you
after
shall
this
see.
conversation.
Well, okay, that brings us to the final segment of the video. What are our scores? What's the overall score? Any last thoughts on the film? I will say, and I wish I had said this in the positive part, I really appreciate that this is an original IP. I like that it's just vampires. I like that it is set in the setting that it is, the way that they portray it, and the characters. Really make this a breath of fresh air. It's not a franchise. It's not some existing IP. This isn't some novel that somebody wrote up years ago. They were like, oh, let's just make this a movie for the money. And I'm really glad that it is doing well. Like I said, I did have my issues with it, but I did not walk out of that theater being like, I wasted time. I cannot believe I saw another Ryan Coogler movie that I fucking hate. So I am very happy with the performance for the film, and I really do like that this movie is doing well enough, hopefully, to convince more studios to like give at least rising directors a shot and like a carte blanche idea, or giving them carte blanche on like their idea, letting them own it, and letting them like actually make some cash off of it too. I think this, like I said, I didn't get to see much about the production, but I really do like the deal that Ryan Coogler was able to strike for an original IP. I think that's really nice to see. So yeah. Oh, but my number. I will say that you guys swung me. I didn't expect that in this conversation. I originally, when I came out of the theater, I gave this movie a 5.6, I think, or something like that. 5.6, 5.2. I was like, it was an average movie. It was okay. It was fine. Like, I'm not mad. It was fun, but I think then things could have been executed better. But that being said, I think I will now bump my score to... Yeah, that feels right. I'm going to bump it to a 7.85. Like, it was really... I think what we talked about was really helpful. And there are still some glaring issues that maybe can be explained away with, like, some mental logic or, like, mental gymnastics. I don't really feel like you should have to do that with a movie. But
it's art.
It's art.
I
am the beholder.
You have those people who it's like, I don't want to be told everything at once. Like, let me think about it. And then there's that other aspect of like, I need you to tell me exactly what this, and this meant.
I think there just needs to be a nice in between. If you're gonna have themes I got to think about, at least make it somewhat easy for me to figure out.
I am in the camp that if you're going to do either one, just say it from the get-go. Like, if you're like, okay, this is going to be a thought-provoking movie. This is going to be an art house movie. This is going to be some weird-ass attempt at, telling a story. Okay, cool, but just tell me that in the first act. Tell me that in the first and then maybe, second half. Don't be like, oh yeah, this is just a comedy, and then it turns into something that's supposed to be, like, super philosophical. Unless, like, you can really pull it off. Or if you're just going to be stupid, then just be fucking stupid. And that's cool, too. Just tell me if I need to turn my brain on or off. That's all I want to know. But yeah, but that's it. I think 7.85 is what I get, and
I don't
7.85
remember.
is what it would be.
That ain't my
Yes, you
job.
said 7.85.
7.85. All right, let me put that in the calculator. Who's next?
Dominic, go.
I went in hearing all the praise and hype, and I think it did live up to it. I don't think I'd give it a 10, just because some parts I guess did feel rushed, like the whole like them arming themselves and then Grace just being like, "Come on in!" Like the gas, it was definitely hit the gas pedal, but it needed to happen just to progress the story. But yeah, I thought this was really good. The cast chemistry was good. The cinematography was good. The music was good. Special effects, beautiful. I've been seeing like some behind the scenes stuff, and it was
You
a
got the
lot of
second
like
point.
Remember?
it was a lot of practical stuff, which I thought was great. Like, it's nice to see practical effects aren't out of Hollywood just yet. Not all green screen stuff. Like, there was a lot of good effects, and it's like Hollywood needs to trust directors and pay special effects people to like pull off really nice special effects, because it's like some stuff could look really bad, but like I don't think anything looked really bad in this film. Everything was really good. Like the vampires looked good, the gore looked good, the final shot of Jack on fire in the water I thought looked pretty good. Yeah, minimal complaints. I do think it's that tough thing where I do think this is good enough to be on its own, but it's like Ryan Coogler did such a good job that it's like I'd love more supernatural stories in this universe. Not necessarily vampires, because it kept these characters, but also like just vampires, because they kept mentioning the hates.
Oh,
I didn't. They're like hates, like, and it was like spirits who possess bodies. Like, I would definitely love more, I guess, stories about these supernatural things that I just don't know about. It's like, werewolves, vampires, ghosts. I feel like those are like common stuff, but like, I don't know, Hollywood I think should do more cultural stuff, but like do it appropriately. I'm rambling. I thought this film was good. If you haven't seen it, go see it in the theater, preferably.
IMAX.
I'll give it. It sucks. It sucks because like the realest IMAX is like Universal Studios, and it's like I don't have to drive out there just to go see it, but it's probably worth it. I'll give this a 9.
A 9. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Ryan Coogler doesn't miss. Me only having seen 3 of his films.
Fucking hate you.
I will agree with Dominic's score.
Can't
I'm going to
enjoy
give it a 9 as well.
You're saying it's a 9, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna add more.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've said all I had to say. I really enjoyed it. It was a good one. Solid. Everybody should go see it. Yes, definitely go see it in theaters. Please.
It does get my
The theaters need it.
Cinema is dying.
Sure is.
What's her face? What's her face? Her trailer is out of the theater, so now cinema's dying.
What?
That one actress who had that commercial.
Nicole Kidman?
Yes, the Nicole
that
Kidman
one.
commercial's out of the cinema. Now cinema's dying.
Well,
I still hate Nicole Kidman from Baby Girl, so don't get me started.
well.
She was in the A24 movie, My Roomies, for last year.
Okay.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, go see a movie in theaters. Theaters need it. Support your
Preferably
local
this
theaters. Yeah. Our theater
final
just
score.
closed, so
It's a casino
I meant to
now.
ask you about that.
casino
I'll have
now,
to ask
yeah.
after the podcast.
all those memories gone. It's okay.
Good fucking riddance.
It's okay. It's your fault, but it's okay.
What the fuck is it my fault?
No, I said your fault as in the viewers.
viewer's
Yeah,
fault. Oh, okay.
it's okay. I never went there either since I quit, so I guess I'm part of the problem.
I tried to convince my twin to go in, and she's like, I don't need to step foot in there. The stories you've told me, I don't want to fucking see the inside of that place.
No, think of the homeless people masturbating on skateboards.
Yeah. Think of the colostomy bags exploding.
Jesus fucking Christ.
What's the score?
8.62 is the final score. I think that's accurate.
That's pretty good. Could be
pretty
higher.
good. Could be a little higher.
Could be higher.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah.
8.7? Is that what you guys are thinking?
8.7's nice. Yeah,
8.7's
it's
nice?
a nice number.
Okay. We can fix it in post. The universe is yours. The reality is yours. 8.62 or 8.7, whatever you want.
Bringing it back to
Bye.
Thanos.
What's it? I don't give you the infinity
You
gauntlet.
had a point.
I'm gonna-
Just saying.
No, he fucking didn't, Jeff.
He did.
Wait, what did you say?
I said don't give him the gauntlet. He said Thanos had a point.
8.62 is what the score was. That's
Thanos was right.
Thanos was not right. Shut up. Killmonger was right. To it.
I mean,
all my
you're
brothers and
also
sisters
correct.
in New York. Yeah.
Ultron was right.
Ultron was right.
Kingpin's right.
Ultron got molested by the internet and is like,
You know who
motherfuckers-
wasn't right though? Red Skull. Fuck that guy.
What was his?
He's a Nazi.
He's a Nazi.
He's
so
a Nazi. He's not right.
He's just-
No, it
he's
doesn't
just
matter
wrong.
what his ideas are. He's a Nazi. He's wrong.
He's
Okay.
wrong.
Yeah.
far right.
Oh, he's
Thanos.
far right, all right.
Thanos. Good ideas. Red Skull. No, sir.
Stupid.
I mean, there are worse reasons to kill half the universe. Thankfully, they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
Close us out, Jeff.
Well, you heard it here. I don't know. We might post this video unedited. We might edit it a little bit. I don't know. We said some weird things in this one. But,
We're saying, right?
oh, well, guess you'll find out when we get canceled.
You got dead names, so that should.
That is true. I do apologize
true,
for that. I've been really, really good about it lately, too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it happens sometimes. I apologize. But, you'll cry about it tonight? Well, good. At least you'll be thinking of me.
Technically, it's tomorrow for you.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
it
true. It's almost tomorrow for me in about 5 minutes.
7 minutes.
7
yeah,
minutes,
with-
yeah.
So, well, you heard it here, 8.62 for the movie Sinners. So, like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think of this. What would you think of the film? What you think of our thoughts? Is there anything you want to add to this? Help bump up Brandy's score. Are you going to go see the film? Are you going to go see it in IMAX? Or are you going to go see it in 70 millimeter, which is the way it was shot? It was intended to, which I didn't know. So,
It was like
hey,
a fusion thing, right? Like,
It was a
something
fusion.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I have it right here. It was shot on IMAX 15 perf 70 mil and between the aspect ratios of 1.43 and 1 and 2.76 and 1 aspect ratio. So there was a blend, and you could kind of see the letterboxing, rubber banding in the
Yeah.
IMAX shot. Yeah.
Well, regardless, we have positive things to say about it. We definitely recommend it. We haven't seen a whole lot of movies this year, but it's the best one we've seen so far. So, hit that bell notification so you get notified when we talk about more films. We're gonna be ramping things up now that we're getting back. We've
More
wrapped
stable.
production on our film. We're in the editing state. Rather, I'm in the editing stages right now. So just a little bit of change of pace. Things are going well, and we want to get back to this. We'll be checking our emails. We'll be checking our comments. We'll be getting back into the swing of things. So you definitely want to hit that bell notification so you can see our videos, and you can yell at us in the comments and stuff like the good old days.
do
I
it
was
like
going through some of the
politely.
old ones.
Yeah. So
Politely yell at us.
We got flamed back in the day.
yeah, we did, and you know what? I felt the last two
Probably
videos
deserve it.
we did, this video and the last video we did, I thought we said pretty positive things. We kept it reeled in. We've been pretty good. We've matured in a way. So yeah, guys, it's just let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So go to those fucking theaters, okay, so they don't close. All right? Yeah, 'cause fuck streaming.
Fuck streaming.
Fuck streaming. They're taking away our physical media and our theaters.
They took away F movies. That's EO.
They
I'll never
they
forget them.
took away everything that we love about movies. So, and they're raising their prices. They're adding advertisements. Fuck your streaming services. But anyways, good night.
See you in the next review.